Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm Cool Philpott. So today we are not looking at the normal turtle tank. Today we are looking at the 20-gallon just holding tank. I'm not really loving the way it's looking as it just has a couple of the rocks and some plants up there. Ooh, which side? That side. Some plants up there, so I think today we are going to re-scape this tank. I'm super excited because I really like the fish in this tank, even though it's just a holding tank. But that is what we'll be doing today. And as always, you're watching the Fish Bowl. Alright guys, so I already turned off all the pumps and I've turned off everything except for the light. And so now I just placed down my new Aquarium co-op towel, which I love by the way, so I can put the rocks here without getting the surface wet. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take all the rocks out, set them right here, and then we'll decide what to do from there. Alright, so it was a little hard to work with the hood on, so I just moved this desk lamp over just so we can see what we're doing. But now I'm going to take all the rocks out and make sure there's no snails or anything on it. Good. And then we're just going to set it down right on the Aquarium co-op towel. So I'm going to set the camera down, take these last couple rocks out, and then I'll come back to you when I come up with a plan. Alright, so now that I've taken all the rocks out, you can really see how dirty the substrate is. There wasn't great flow in this tank, because it is pretty high up, and all there was the return pump, and that was kind of just shooting through the water column and wasn't really disturbing the bottom. So I'm definitely going to have to change that up a little bit, so I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to suck up all the sand, and I think I'm going to change it to gravel. I just have some regular pea gravel laying around that I think I'm going to put in here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down the camera and suck up all the sand. So I'll come back to you when that's done. Alright guys, so I now have all the sand taken out. It's a little hard to see because it really has a lot of reflections. That's what I'm trying to say. But basically all I did was I took a siphon, just a regular bunch of hose, but it has nothing on the end. And then I would create a siphon and pull everything into the bucket. So you can see that's really hard to see, let's try to get a light. So you can see I have a bunch of sand now in there, and I'm just going to store that for a later tank. So now I have all the sand out, and I'm going to go grab the gravel, and we'll put it in the tank. I'll get back to you once I do that. Alright guys, so I'm back from going outside, and as you can see, I just have a bunch of this regular gravel, regular pea gravel, but the issue is it was in my snail tank, and it doesn't smell good, and it has a bunch of like debris, and just not great stuff, so I'm going to just rinse it out in my bathtub, just run it for a couple minutes, just to make sure I get all the bad stuff out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to set the camera down and then I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so I rinsed it a bunch of times, and as you can see, the gravel seems to be much cleaner than it was, and definitely doesn't smell as bad, so good. I'm really happy about that, and I'm going to add it to the tank, and we'll see how it does. I'm hoping that this is a better plant soil than just regular sand, because it's bigger, so more air and more nutrients can get down to the roots, but I don't know, we'll see. It's kind of an experiment. I'm going to plant water sprite, which is in a bunch of my other tanks, and we'll compare which grows better. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll get back to you when that happens. Alright guys, so it is now thoroughly washed, and I'm pretty happy how I got it to be, so it's pretty clean, doesn't smell too bad. So now I'm just going to take, where is it? This little container, scoop up some of the gravel, and then just dump it in the tank. And that should do, it should take a little while, but I think this will work pretty well. So I'm going to do that, and I'll get back to you once I have this tank set up, and then we can get to the hardscape, which is going to be super fun. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so after taking way longer than it should have, all the gravel is now in. This is a pretty good amount of gravel, and I think it should work well. But all I'm going to do now is slope the gravel back to the back. That's going to give a nice good planting depth for like the back. So that's where I'm going to place the water sprite. Also, making that little slope is going to add like a sense of depth, if that makes any sort of sense. So you have kind of like a horizon line, and then you can place things below the horizon, and that is a great way to add depth to your aquarium. So I'm going to do that, and then we can work on the hardscape. Alright, so I do have all the gravel pushed to the back now, and now I'm going to start with the rocks. So I think here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to create a similar thing to what I had, but I think I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand because the tank is really deep and I can't really reach all the way to the bottom, and I'm afraid of dropping the rock. So I'm going to set this down and I'll get back to you when I have the hardscape in. And I'm just going to play around with it to make it look good, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I actually changed up my design. I just put this one big rock in the middle because I thought it would be really cool to have like big, large plants just surrounding it. That will bring all the fish to the main focal point, and also like the gold severum, who is really stressed out right now because of all the commotion. That will really bounce and really go well with the green plant. So that is what I'm going to do. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. But anyway, going back, I'm going to rearrange the gravel just a little more. Alexa, stop. And then just plant it up, and I'll show you how it looks when I'm done. Alright guys, so as you can see, I just have a bunch of the water sprite clippings that I've been floating in my 20-gallon. So now I'm just going to plant them around the back and let them grow in. So I think it's going to be really cool once they grow in. But this is going to be really difficult because it's really high, like I said before. So I'm going to have to set the camera down to do this, but I'm going to struggle, but it's going to be hard. But let's try it. Let's see how it turns out. Alright guys, so I've now filled up the aquarium, and now you can really see what it really looks like. I just have this big rock right here in the middle, and then plants scattered around the edges. I haven't finished planting yet, but I think it'll look pretty cool once it fills in. But I filled it up about 5 hours ago, but then I had to go to a fundraiser for my high school baseball team. But as I was there, I don't know what happened, but I did sadly lose one zebra danio. And not only that, but I can't seem to find the other ones. I looked outside the tank, I picked up the rock, I just can't find them anywhere. I just don't understand, but thankfully the gold severum is still okay, the platies are still okay, and the blue gourami is still okay. And they look okay, everything looks fine. That's what I just don't understand. And the plants look fine. I knew they weren't gonna do anything, but it's really confusing. So I'm really not sure what happened. I added the dechlorinator, I added everything, and I did what I just normally do. So that's a little disappointing, but I'm pretty excited that the tank is now redone, and it looks a lot better than it did. I'm also really curious to see how the gravel does opposed to the sand. But, yeah, that's just too bad. Alright, well, even though I did lose a couple of fish, and I'm not exactly sure if I actually have lost them, I just can't seem to find them. But, even though I did hurt or lose a couple of fish, I did think this change was for the better. Like, yeah, it is really sucks that they're dead, or at least one's dead. I'm really happy that these two are at least okay. They looked okay, but I thought it was just from the stress that they looked a little off before I left. But I'm really happy that my gold severum is okay, because he is one of my favorite fish, if not my favorite. But saying that I only lost one fish to my knowledge, I don't think is horrible. But I'm happy with the way it looks, and I think it's going to look really cool when it fills in. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, remember to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And as always, you've been watching The Fishbowl. Alright guys, so I rewatched that last video, and I realized that I didn't send the message that I really wanted to send. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be unsensitive, because after all, these are my pets. And I love them. So, when I killed those fish, I felt really bad, and all I was trying to say was, I'm really happy at least all the fish that I have right now are safe. And that they're happy, so that is the most important thing to me. So I didn't want to come across as being unsensitive or just not caring that I killed these fish, but I just feel awful. So I don't want to send that message. But on another note, now that I have plants in this tank, I have to think about how I'm going to feed them. And because it is a sump system connected with the 40 gallon, it's going to be much harder to dose. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is I think I'm just going to let it go. Because after all, it is water sprite, which is a pretty easy plant. And I think it should do fine without the fertilizer. Every so often I might add in some of the Aquarium Co-op Easy Green, sorry. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes. And as I said, I'm not trying to be insensitive, just I'm really happy that all the fish that I have right now are healthy and safe. But thank you guys for watching.